Welcome to another live match fishing film. It's right at the end of November. There's a very cold wind blowing and it's bomb and feeder only. Those are the rules. Well, I got off to a decent start. I ended up with £50 13 ounces on the first round. That puts me in 16th place out of 60 anglers. So it's a steady start. It is done on weight. It's not a competition that's run on points. So every time you draw, every round that you fish, you've just basically got to get as much weight as you possibly can. I know that's a really silly thing to say. From here on Loco, I've actually drawn Loco 48 today. A spot I've only ever filmed and pleasure fished before, but let me just show you the peg. That's looking back up the lake. Over there is Benny's, just so you know where we are, and behind me here is Beaches. And I am in this peg that runs down into this corner. As you can see, we've got the wind blowing into it, which looks inviting. It is a very cold wind, but I've got all this corner here, and amazingly there aren't any anglers on that left hand bank, and I'm not sure why that is. I'm pretty sure on the last match there were anglers on that bank, so obviously that you'd think that's going to work in my favour, but I quite fancy it, to be fair, even though that wind is really cold. It's going to be a 2-rod approach, so I'll talk you through that in a moment. All my bait's done and we're kicking off in about 10 minutes. So I've basically just got 2 rods set up. That's all I've got. I've got a 9-foot XRC, and that is basically, it's the bomb version. That is basically for fishing the bomb, so that's just 9 foot. I'm not going to be going out too far with that. I'm going to be loose feeding pellets out there, and that is where I will be dropping that bomb over there a little bit later on. And then I've got a method feeder up. I've just got a 10-foot commercial feeder. That's all I've got set up, because that 10-foot rod like that, especially with a method feeder, I could cast her halfway with that, no problem. And I'm just really going to be dotting around with that rod. I'm possibly going to start short, I think, I don't know, but then I'll be pinging pellets at that sort of 18 metre sort of range, depending on the wind. And that is it really. Obviously the feeder's going to allow me to go right out there into the open water as well, and I can search down to my left and obviously go down into this corner if I want. I don't know whether to loose feed anything into that corner, I'll be absolutely honest with you, but that's a decision I will make. We've got plenty of planes coming up, but I'm going to film the whole match for you. We're fishing 10:30 till 3:30. For those of you that don't know this lake, it's going to be all about carp and F1s. Well, it's a couple of minutes before the start, and I've got to be absolutely honest with you. My biggest dilemma is I don't know whether to fish with, whether to feed 6mm or 8mm pellets. I honestly don't know. The 8s will allow me to feed further out because of that wind, obviously, because they're heavier, but I don't know. I'm going to have to make a decision. I've had 6s on Benny's last time, but Benny's is more F1 fishing. But just to put you in a quick picture about how round 1 fished for me, just to sum up how it's actually fishing, at the halfway stage I had 1 skimmer. So 2.5 hours into round 1 I had 1 skimmer in the net, and that was it. I was over on Benny's and they were catching on the far bank. There was some being caught over to my right. With 2 hours to go, I started getting 1 or 2 indications, 1 or 2 liners, and I ended up with 17 F1s and 4 big skimmers, and that was it. That's what made up my £50 weight. So, you know, even if it is going to be a slow start, you know, I've heard stories everywhere that fish can just turn up from nowhere. It's winter fishing, so if it is a slow start, I'm just going to stick to the plan and just keep going and hoping that I'm going to get a visit if the fish aren't there right from the start. The keep net rule on here is quite simple: 3 nets, and just spread your fish out between all 3. The bait tray for today couldn't really be much simpler. All I've got some fishery micro pellets for the feeder. I've got some micro bandom wafters, some good old F1 corn as well that I can obviously loose feed via catapult or by hand short, and then I've got some 6mm hard fishery pellets that I'm just going to be loose feeding at about 16 to 18 metres via the catapult. That's it. I've made the decision I'm going to feed 6mm. That's the decision I've made, just because I feel it's a little bit less selective. So I'm just going to have 10 or 15 minutes on that short line. I've obviously got the drag set. I've got a yellow mini bandom wafter on. I'm just going to be feeding about 6 to 8 pellets out onto that pinging line. Well, I've been there 5 minutes, not the target, but we're off the mark. Not getting any liners or anything like that. That was just a bite out of the blue. So I'm gonna have a couple more drops there. whilst I'm pinging that pellet line, but I think it's going to be it's definitely going to be a match where it's going to go right until the last few minutes, you know, this time of year. Winter fishing like this, obviously the fish can turn up at any stage. I think that landing net's a bit big for these fish. 2 in 2. Been fishing about 10-15 minutes now. I haven't seen any other fish caught, but to be honest I can't see that many anglers. I'm going to have a couple more drops in on this line, just so we can get a decent fish, and then if there isn't any sign of one, then I'll have a cast on that pinging line. I'll probably drop a method on it first. I've just pricked another little skimmer, or any small fish. I was just about to think there's obviously no decent fish there, and I've just gone in and this has literally only been there about a minute. This is a much better fish. That's a better fish. Just on a yellow mini bandam. That's much better. Got to stay on that line now. Just again, another mini bandam. That was just a clean bite out of the blue. That there was no indications, no line bites or anything. Just a complete take, which is brilliant. Let's hope there's a few more there. Over that pellet line, loose fed pellet line, and I didn't get a sign, so I've just cast over it with the bomb. I'm going to skip it. Just that quick change to the bomb pellet brought a quick fish. I don't really know what's been caught, I'll be absolutely honest with you, because I can't really see anybody. There isn't anybody to my left. The lads on the other bank are really a little bit too far away to really watch properly. The only real angler to my right is quite a few pegs away, so I can't really, and I haven't seen him catch anything. All I've done is, when I come off that 5 metre line, I just put a ball of pellets on it just to top it up, and I can keep topping that up whilst I'm fishing elsewhere. Just as you'd expect, you never know, those fish might come down that margin later on. I have got a margin swim to my left and right today, so that's something that will come into play a little bit later on. Well, I only had a couple more indications on that bomb line. Just felt like there just weren't any fish there. I weren't getting indications or anything, so I've just picked the method feeder rod back up again, the 10-foot commercial feeder, and I've just whacked the method feeder out, same size and everything, to about 35 metres, not clipped up, and this has only been out there about 3 minutes. And after a couple of little indications, I've up to another decent fish. Just kiting round to my right now. That wind's cold. It sounds like it is very quiet. It might be an F1, this one. One of the chunky F1s. It might be a day where you've just got to dot it around and keep going searching for fish. If that's the case, I'm obviously prepared to do that, and because I've got so much room, I think that could help, because it gives me loads of options. I'm just going to go back out to that same spot again. We're just over an hour in, and it's ticking over. I've got 8 fish. I've got 2 F1s, a carp, and the rest are small skimmers. Sounds like they're still really struggling over on that other bank, and I don't know what's been caught up to my right. I'm really not looking that way. I'm still on that 35 metre line. That's the only place where I've had more indications than anywhere really, so I'm still on there. However, I'm still feeding balls of micro pellets. You are allowed to do that on this league. You can feed, it is a bomb and feeder league. You can loose feed balls of pellets, but you can't feed balls of ground bait. And you can feed via a catapult. So I'm still pinging pellets on that 18 metre line. Just going to catch what I can on this 35 metre line, and then just catch what I can here. And if I've got to move, I can go further to the left if I need to. But obviously I can drop back onto that pellet line, and then I've got these margins for that latter period. So we're just ticking over at the minute. Well, just had two big liners. I think this is another skimmer. Looks like there's a bit of a pocket of fish just there, for whatever reason. I'll just keep casting there and catch what I can from it. And hopefully some of them are going to be better net fish. I've actually decided to clip up now on that spot out there in the open water, and it just feels a little bit better. Just had a couple of liners there. I've just had to slack line it completely, and this one nearly pulled the rod in. Just heard them on the other bank saying that they're struggling over there with just the odd skimmer caught, but this one nearly pulled the rod in. It scared me to death. A bit of sun breaking through now, which might bring that temperature up a bit. Another F on that one. Not a huge fish, but they're all important today. That is the first fish for ages. I've had a really poor spell. That hook's come out in the net. I've had a really poor spell. We're 2 hours in now, and that's the first proper fish for ages. Really struggling. I've been getting a few line bites, and to be fair, I'm a bit annoyed actually, because I've been feeding that 5 metre line, keeping it ticking over, the one that I started on, and I went on it after a rest, and I had a great big pull, and I picked up, and I've kind of pricked a fish. I don't know if it was foul hooked, if it was wrapped round it. It felt a good fish. So I'm a bit annoyed about that, because I set that line up ready for a visit, you know, and I've gone on it and it's not produced a fish. It's not getting any warmer. Not the stump we're after. I honestly thought that was a bream. That was first cast with a method feeder over the loose fed pellet. I'm just bitting and batting around now. We're over halfway. Everybody's really quiet. I haven't got a clue what's being caught. So just plodding away, where hopefully I can just keep putting a few fish in the net, and then I hope for a visit down this margin later on. I've just had another F1 on that same line where I'm pinging pellets, just out the blue. A little bit smaller F1 that one, but that's 2 in 2 casts on that line where I've been loose feeding, so that's encouraging. So I'm obviously back on there again now, so it'd be nice if a few fish will come to those pellets to just give me a bit of a run of fish. I'm hoping those haven't moved in. Well, we're just going into the last 2 hours now, and this is one of those typical matches where you haven't got a clue what's been caught. I just haven't got a clue how my net of fish is comparing to what other people have caught. I just haven't got a clue. I've no idea what's been caught around the lake. I've got 16 fish now. It's 2 hours to go. But having said that, 16 fish. I've got that 1 carp and possibly about 5 F1s. And they're not really big F1s either. And the rest are small skimmers basically. I'm still on that line where I'm loose feeding pellets at the moment. I've just had 2 F1s off that, which was good, but now I've just had 3 skimmers, and they are hand-sized skimmers, which is not ideal obviously. So I'm still priming this left-hand margin, which is down there in front of those reeds. So I'm priming that with small balls of pellets, and I'm also putting pellets back here, back where I started on that 5 metre line. And I have got a right-hand margin as well. I haven't fed to the right, so that could be a complete throwaway, just somewhere to drop the feeder if I can't get any signs anywhere else. I mean, that side's going towards the corner, this is actually going up the lake, so sometimes that would be the better side to fish for a margin. But I'm just looking for odd fish now. But like I say, what I've got, I haven't got a clue how that is in comparison with what's been caught on the rest of the lake. So it's going to be one of those matches where we won't know anything until the weigh in, and I think they'll be weighing in from that side first, so I'll probably be the last one to weigh in as well. So I've just got to just keep dotting about, you know, on all these 3 spots that I've got. But if I don't get one on this cast, I'm going to have a look down this margin. Well, I said if I didn't get one on this cast, I was coming off this line, and I've just nearly lost the rod. Just nearly pulled the rod in. Looks like it's a good fish too. Just got to try and make sure I land it. That wind's getting up as well, which might help produce some cover down this margin. Not a huge fish, certainly better than a skimmer. Just cast that back out and it's gone straight round. Literally only been in there a minute. Better stamp fish this one. Oh, that's a bit of stamp. Big F1 that one. First cast down the margin. If there's any there, they should give themselves away, even if they're just line bites. But that's the only side that I've fed with little balls of pellets. I'm still putting feed in at 5 metres here, but this is my first cast down here now. There's a little under an hour and a half to go now, so there's less than 90 minutes left. So that is the time when you'd expect a few fish to come down a margin, especially when there's so much room here. I mean, it looks ideal. So hopefully we're going to get a run of fish. That wind's been getting quite strong. There we go. Brilliant, that's a great sign. It's not a skimmer either. That's encouraging. First drop in, same hook bait and everything. An F1. Let's hope there's more down there waiting for us. Well, I went straight back down that margin and I didn't get anything for 2 casts. A couple of tiny little indications. And I was just about to drop it somewhere else, and I thought I'll have one more a little bit further out away from the bank, where it's obviously slightly deeper. And this has been in about 3 minutes, and this is a much slower fish, this one. Hopefully that's because it's bigger. We've got an hour and 10 minutes left, so this is the time when you'd expect the margin to be better, but I'm just hoping we're going to get a visit and get a run of fish. Even though I don't know what's been caught elsewhere, I'm pretty sure that what I have got is nowhere near enough as what it should be. These F1s are getting so big now. It's not getting any warmer. It's freezing now, that wind. Well, there's 45 minutes left. It's not getting any warmer. That wind's really cold now. It's blowing straight in. It's I've had 3 fish now down this margin. 3 F1s. 2 of them are a good stamp. I'm getting tiny little. That's a fish now. That's another one. I've been getting tiny little indications. I couldn't tell if they were small fish or whether it's, you know, whether there are F1s there milling about and moving about. But obviously I've hooked one now and it's not a skimmer, so maybe they are F1s, but everything's a bonus now. That's it. Made the decision over the last 30 minutes to stop feeding at 5 meters, just so that I'm not spreading the feed around everywhere. Just gone in and it's gone straight round again. Got about 30 minutes left. Ten minutes to go, and I've seen this happen before, and basically I had those 3 good F1s down this margin, and then I've just gone and caught three skimmers, and one of them's a decent skimmer bream. And I've seen that happen before, you know. You get 1 or 2 F1s and then all of a sudden it's as though when some pellets get in there, some micros and stuff, that it attracts the bream and the skimmers. And you know, I can't believe that I haven't had any more down there. But there's about 10 minutes left. I'm obviously hoping that I'm going to catch another couple of more fish down this margin, but my last 3 fish have been skimmers, so I'm not going to bother moving, you know, just for the sake of this last 10 minutes. So hopefully I'm going to get another fish or 2. I'm getting little indications, so there are 1 or 2 fish milling about down there, but I haven't got a clue what's been caught. I haven't heard anybody talk for the last hour and a half or anything, so I honestly don't know. I'm currently on 24 fish, but a lot of them are obviously skimmers, so I'm just hoping I'm going to get something just in these last few minutes, just to boost my weight up a little bit. That's it. Well, that was very much a winter match. A little bit frustrating, to be honest. I mean, basically with 40 minutes to go, that's when I caught 3 and 3 casts down this margin. 3 and 3 casts, those decent F1s. And with 40 minutes to go, I honestly thought it was going to get stronger, and it didn't. I think I've just caught 3 more skimmers since then, and that's it. I had 1 or 2 little indications that there were 1 or 2 fish milling about there, but basically it didn't result in any more fish, which is really disappointing. I've got to admit, I haven't got a clue what I've done. I've ended up with 24 fish, but as you know, a lot of them are skimmers anyway. They're not all F1s or carp, so I don't know what weight I've got, but like I say, I haven't got a clue what I've done on the lake. I haven't heard a single thing, so I honestly don't know how far off the mark I might be. I don't know, but I've got to be absolutely honest with you. I think I've left some fish in the peg today. Basically, there's a couple of things I think I possibly could have done differently. Maybe I should have explored this right hand margin a little bit more than what I did. Maybe I should have gone further down this left hand margin into the corner. Maybe that would have been a better thing. But I think the biggest thing that I kind of wish I had explored a little bit now, and that is that left hand bank along there. Maybe I should have put one of my longer rods up and had a cast along that bank. But there are only so many things you can do. You can't do everything, and I don't know this lake as regards match fishing. I'm still trying to get to grips with the venue, certainly in winter as well, so you can't do everything. So you've seen the decisions I've made, and hopefully I'm not too far off the pace. I've had some very quiet spells, and I think they're going to cost me where I could have been putting fish in the net. But that's it. So when we get some gear packed away, it's starting to go dark now. We haven't obviously got much time at this time of year. So when we get some gear packed away, the scales are bang opposite me now, working their way around. So I will be the last one on this lake to weigh in. Well, those big F1s have weighed a lot more than what I thought. I've actually ended up weighing just over 60 pounds. I can't believe it. That's basically because I've been clicking fish and not clicking the actual weight. Like I said, because there aren't net limits as such here, I haven't really been paying that much attention to the size of fish, just making sure I was splitting them between the 3 nets. So I thought I had a lot less than that. What I've said is, you know, I have left some fish in the peg, you know, and I still need to tweak a few things when I'm fishing this place. I'm still getting to know it, so that's obviously going to be a counter, I would think. So you know, that should put me on I'm on over 110 pounds now in 2 matches. That's obviously pushing me forward for the actual league itself. So it's been another very interesting match. I really hope you've enjoyed me sharing it with you. If you have, please give this one a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more live matches like this. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.